If you're booked on Marella Cruises Colours of the Caribbean itinerary this winter, then you are in for a treat. Over 7 nights we'll be visiting 6 stunning islands, and I'll be sharing what I got up to, what it cost me, and a few tips along the way to help you make the most out of your cruise holiday. Think of this as your Caribbean sneak peek, and trust me, there are rum punches, zip lines, and some incredible adventures. So grab a drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. First up, La Romana. I flew TUI Airways Premium Economy from Manchester to La Romana, a smooth flight of around 8 hours and 15 minutes. If you fancy upgrading, Premium Economy comes in at around £585 per person return, with the option to book extra space and extra legroom seats too, starting from about £105 per person return. If you've chosen Premium, this will give you a little taste of what to expect on your journey out. On arrival into La Romana Airport, your holiday really does begin. You're met right at the aircraft steps where your taxi transfer is waiting to whisk you away. No messing about with long waits or shuttle buses, and it's only a 15-minute drive to the cruise terminal. Marella make the whole process really effortless. And what's great about Marella, once you say goodbye to your suitcase in the UK airport, the next time you see it will be waiting outside your cabin. The La Romana cruise terminal itself is small but filled with duty-free shops and a few shops for selling souvenirs if you fancy picking up a keepsake. There's also a swimming pool at the port too, with free sunbeds, so if you don't feel like heading out to explore, you can actually just spend the day there. Food and drinks are chargeable though, but the pool itself is free. Temperature wise, you can expect around 29 degrees most days, and with the sun setting about 6:45 p.m, it's a perfect time to be on deck for those amazing sunsets. It's also handy to know that the local currency here in the Dominican is the Dominican peso, and while credit cards are widely accepted, Marella make it easy for you because there's a cash facility at reception on board that's open daily from 7 a.m. until midnight. This was actually my first Marella cruise, so if it's yours too, don't miss my video with 15 top tips for the perfect Marella cruise. I'll add the link at the end of this video so you can pick up loads of insider tips to make the most out of your holiday. Once we checked in, bags were already waiting in the cabin. Time to unpack, grab some dinner and enjoy our first Caribbean sail away, because tomorrow is our only sea day on board Marella Explorer 2, the perfect chance to relax and explore the ship.
Yeah. So your thumb should be pointing down the way on the top. Yep, that's you there. And then you're lining this X on it, just up at mid-ball. And just keep your arms straight as you're coming up. Keep your eye on the ball, I just follow it through. Where is it? John, where's it going? I was just practicing.
That was practice.
I was just a practice shot. Yeah. Come on, you got it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Wow. Guys, give us luck.
Yeah, make the picture. That's brilliant.
Oh.
On a sea day, there's plenty going on. I popped into the 19th hole, tried my hand at karaoke badly, and even ended up at the silent disco. Honestly, you can be as chilled or as involved as you like. Though if you hear someone murdering an 80s classic at karaoke, yep, that might have been me. Yes, I think that's enough of that. So on to our first port of call, which is Rizal on the lush island of Dominica. It's often called the island of waterfalls, and it's where I experienced one of Marella Cruises' top shore excursions here, which I can very much highly recommend. Now we arrived at 9 a.m, greeted by blue skies and a very comfortable 27 degrees. Dominica is one of the Caribbean's most unspoilt islands, green, lush and a world away from the busier ports, but if you're after adventure, then this is definitely the place. I booked the Wacky Truck Waterfall and Rainforest Adventure through Marella Cruises. It costs £60 per adult and £37 per child, and it was such a fun way to see the island. You hop on board one of these open air trucks with music playing, the guide is talking you through everything that you're seeing, and off you go. First stop though was about 30 minutes here, the Mournbruce viewpoint, with incredible views over the town and harbour, and with fabulous views including one of Marella Explorer 2. You'll definitely need your camera for this one. From there we rumbled into the rainforest and stopped at the Wat and Waver sulphur springs. Now you'll definitely smell them before you see them. Our guide explained how the springs are formed.
From an aerial point of view, it looks like we're inside of an old volcano. So within that community, there are several hot springs and fumaroles all over this community. There are over 50 fumaroles and hot springs within Wat and Waver. This is just one of them. Okay? Now if you look at the spring, you will notice a variety of colors around the spring. The different colors that are around the spring represent the different minerals that are in the water and in the soil. The temperature of the water varies on a day-to-day basis. However, temperatures can range anywhere from 60 degrees Celsius up to 100 degrees Celsius.
The guide was telling us that they're building a brand new cable car here, which when it's finished will be the longest one in the world. Well, that won't be for the faint-hearted. Shortly after we arrived at T2 Gorge, and it's a water canyon with sheer rock walls and a hidden waterfall at the end of a beautiful 10-minute swim. The water, well, yeah, it's refreshing. At first I couldn't touch the bottom, I'll be honest with you, and the current was a bit strong in places, but there are a lot of rocks to rest on along the way and you can take your time, and if you're not a confident swimmer, floats are provided for everyone and the guides come with you to the waterfall. Swimming through that gorge and then reaching the hidden waterfall, honestly it was such an amazing experience. A couple of tips: take a bag with a towel and water with you on the tour, and water shoes are ideal because the rocks can be a bit slippy in places. Afterwards we were handed some rum punch and fresh fruit while we dried off. Goodness me, that rum was certainly strong enough to warm your cockles, that's for sure. Then it was back on the truck for the ride back to port, and if you love adventure and if waterfalls aren't your thing, you've still got loads of options here, from whale watching to river tubing or even champagne snorkeling. I would definitely recommend this trip though. It really was a lot of fun and I learned so much too about the island from the guide. Tomorrow the adventure continues because we're off to Antigua, famous for its 365 beaches, yet one for every day of the year. And I'll be taking you on a catamaran trip with a snorkel stop and a beach stop, complete with an unexpected visit from dolphins and an even more unexpected wave from the captain. Welcome to Antigua, one of the largest of the Leeward Islands. Antigua's 14 miles long and 13 miles wide. Marella Explorer 2 docked here bright and early around 8 AM with everyone to be back on board at 5:30. The sun was shining, the skies were blue, and at around 29 degrees it was the perfect beach day. Antigua's famous for its 365 beaches, one for every single day of the year. And the last time I was here I booked the Swimming with the Pigs excursion, and you can catch that video on my channel or the link is in the description. This time though I fancied something different, so I headed northwest to Boones Reef on a catamaran trip and snorkeling and a beach stop. It took about 45 minutes of sailing before we reached Boones Reef, but the coastline of Antigua is just stunning. Fort James, Runaway Bay, Dickinson Bay, plus loads of little hidden beaches. The crew kept the music going, the drinks were flowing. It does get a bit breezy on deck, so make sure you pack a jumper if you feel the cold. Swim shoes also come in handy too for the snorkeling. And at Boones Reef we had about 30 minutes in the water. I left my phone on the boat, so no action shots of me flapping about in a snorkel mask, but I loved every single second. Out here in the open water I spotted a few fish. The last time I was snorkeling was in Barbados. closer to the shore where the fish were everywhere, but this was a bit more wild and adventurous. By the time I climbed back on board, I was more than ready for a cold beer. Then they asked if we fancied a beach stop. Well, say no more. We dropped anchor on a little secluded beach near Runaway Bay for about an hour. White sand, turquoise sea, and the crew even brought the rum punches over to the beach for us. Now that's service. And if catamarans aren't your thing, Antigua still has plenty to offer. You could go horseback riding along the beach, do a 4x4 island adventure, or simply pick one of the 365 beaches and spend the day doing absolutely nothing but soaking up the sun. On the way back to port, just when I thought the day couldn't get any better, dolphins joined us, swimming alongside the catamaran. Honestly, it really was the perfect ending to a fantastic day in Antigua.
Well, look at that view. Another day, another country, another destination. This morning we're in St Maarten and I mentioned it's about 29 degrees this week. For me, I'm throwing myself off the edge of a mountain, first by a zip wire, and if that wasn't enough, I thought I'd throw myself off again down a rubber ring, down the mountain.
There is so much to do in St Maarten, but after yesterday's chilled out beach day, I thought I'd do something a little bit more energetic. So instead of Bongo's beach bar, I signed myself up for the steepest zipline in the world, the Flying Dutchman, plus a rubber ring ride down the side of a mountain. Marella Explorer 2 docked at 8 AM and everyone to be back on board for 5:30. Blue skies, 29 degrees, a perfect Caribbean day. I booked the Skyride and Flying Dutchman excursion through Marella Cruises, £99 per adult and £97 for children. Return transport to the cruise port is included in the price. And when you arrive, you're given a departure time to use the Sky Explorer. So the adventure starts gently with a bit of history at a plantation house from the 1700s. Then you head to the base of Sky Explorer chairlift, which carries you partway up Centre Hill. And in all honesty, those views as you're riding the Sky Explorer chairlift do take the edge off your nerves. I also got the chance to check out the second part of the tour, which was the schooner ride, a rubber ring down the side of the mountain. At the first stop, you're fitted with harness, helmet, given safety instructions and told to leave your bags and phones behind.
I've not been able to film probably the last 45 minutes. That's only because you're not allowed to take mobile phones. So basically what happens is do 3 different zip lines, probably last maybe about 30-40 seconds each one.
And once you've tackled the 3 short warm-up zip lines, then once you're done you collect your belongings and by then you've got a bit of confidence ready for the big one. The final chairlift takes you to the very top of Centre Hill at 1125 feet. It's the island's highest point and the views are just stunning. You can see both the Dutch and the French sides of St Maarten. There are toilets there and even a little bar up there if you fancy a soft drink or something stronger to settle your nerves. It's the moment I said to myself, why didn't I just go to Bongo's beach bar instead?
I'm about to go down the Flying Dutchman. Feelings right now, I was kind of alright and then I saw how steep it was. Not heard any screams as yet though, but maybe I might be the first.
2 riders go at a time and before I knew it my name was called, I was strapped in, sat back, then off. Now speeds can hit up to 56 miles an hour, it's over in seconds, but what an adrenaline rush. I was screaming and laughing the whole way down. At the bottom there's a photo spot so you can proudly say that you've conquered the Flying Dutchman. Then it's back up on the chairlift for the schooner ride. Now this one's a bit gentler because you hop on a rubber ring and slide down a twisting track on the slower slopes of the mountain. Compared to the zipline, this was a breeze and really good fun too. At the bottom there's a shop selling snacks and of course a video of your zipline experience for about $20. Outside there's also a free shuttle bus taking you back to the cruise port. Then it was straight on board, yes you guessed it, for a very well earned beer and some lunch. Tomorrow is day 6 on this itinerary and we're sailing into Tortola in the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Now I first visited Cane Garden Bay 2 years ago and loved it so much that I came back again, this time on Marella Explorer 2. So I thought I'd share some of that footage with you here. So if you haven't seen it yet, here's my video on Cane Garden Bay. Today we decided to do our own thing, and as soon as you reach the pier there are these little buses waiting for you. You do have to wait for them to fill up though, but once you set off it's about a 20-minute ride up and over that mountain to Cane Garden Bay, which is where we're heading today. The return fare for these little buses to Cane Garden Bay and back to the cruise port is $24. Now Tortola is the largest of the British Virgin Islands, featuring several beautiful beaches, but Cane Garden Bay is the one we're heading to today. And just so you know, it's US dollars accepted here, so make sure you've got some cash with you. Now how these buses get up the hill, I don't know, but the journey is worth it for the views alone. Absolutely stunning panoramic scenery, and the driver will usually stop so you can take some photos. Cane Garden Bay is one of the island's most popular beaches and it can get busy, so my top tip is to arrive early, between 8 and 9 AM to grab a good sunbed. The daily rate for a lounger and umbrella is approximately $10 per person. The beach itself is exactly what you'd picture when you think of Caribbean: soft white sand, turquoise waters and lush green hills in the background. Just behind you as well you'll find a local rum distillery where you can try 5 shots of rum for just $1. Well, that sounds good to me. Settled, you'll find plenty of little shacks serving food and drinks, and many will bring the menu and your food right to your sunbed. Well, we ordered breakfast. 2 pina coladas. Well, we are on our holidays after all. After a few relaxing hours swimming and enjoying the views, we headed back to the ship. Around the port you'll also find shops and restaurants, plus plenty of duty-free stores right on the pier, just steps away from the gangway, perfect if you want a quick browse before boarding. And if Cane Garden Bay isn't your thing, then there are other great excursions in Tortola. One is Tortola by Land and Sea, a mix of boat and bus, and takes you past coves, sandy bays and even the islands that inspired Treasure Island. Another is the Forest Hike and Beach, a walk through St Maarten National Park, home to the highest point in the Virgin Islands. Expect dramatic rainforest views followed by some downtime back on Cane Garden Bay. So whether it's rum, beaches, hikes or history, Tortola has something for everyone. Tomorrow is the last day of this 7-night wonderful Colours of the Caribbean itinerary and we are heading to Samaná. Bacardi anyone? We arrived into Samaná the following morning at 10 AM and straight away you'll notice that this is a tender port, which means the ship drops anchor out in the bay and you hop on a little tender boat. Now, Samaná itself has loads of excursions on offer. If you fancy a bit of adventure, you can do the El Limon waterfall tour, where you head out on horseback to one of the highest waterfalls in the Dominican Republic. Or if you're an adrenaline junkie like me, then there's the zipline canopy tour, 10 different zip lines crisscrossing through the jungle treetops, with fruit and rum samples at the end. Goodness me, you'll need one. But for me, I had my sights set on somewhere pretty special. Cayo Levantado, better known as Bacardi Island. It got the nickname because Bacardi rum was once filmed an advert here, and when you see those palm fringe white sands, you'll know exactly why they picked it. As soon as you arrive by boat, which is a 15 to 20 minute ride, you're welcome with a cocktail, and it's only a 5-minute walk from the jetty to the main beach. Now, the island is split into 2 parts. You've got the private section, which is comfier lounges, more facilities, but you'll pay a fee, or the public section. Free sunbeds, still gorgeous, just a bit simpler, and this is where I was. My top tip though is to get there early if you want the best spot. I chose the free section, and honestly, it was perfect. Just steps away from the sea and only a 20-second wander to the bar. Most drinks were around $5 each, which I thought was really good, and you have to try the pina colada. Oh, it was absolutely gorgeous, served in a freshly carved pineapple. Welcome to the Caribbean. The measure of rum was very generous, let's put it that way, which I loved. But hey, we're in Caribbean time.
So here we are on Bacardi Island. It's literally just a 10-minute boat trip away from where the ship is tendered. You may be able to see the Marella Explorer in the background, but I have to say, this is absolutely beautiful. You've got there's 2 bars on board, toilets, there's a little live band playing, Caribbean drums. The beach is beautiful, it's lovely and warm, pure sand, turquoise seas. It's absolutely stunning. If you ever get the chance to go to Samaná on your cruise itinerary, then you must take a little journey to Bacardi Island. I mean, this is, wow, one of the most stunning beaches I've seen in a long time.
And just like that, our week sailing the colours of the Caribbean on Marella Explorer 2 comes to an end. From swimming through waterfalls in Dominica, to catamarans and rum punches in Antigua, throwing myself off a mountain in St Maarten, or soaking up the sun in Cane Garden Bay. This itinerary has been packed with so much variety. Every single day brought something new, from adventure and adrenaline to pure bliss. Honestly, it's been an amazing Caribbean holiday. And if you're planning your own Marella cruise, don't forget I've got more videos waiting for you. You can check out my 15 top tips for Marella Cruises, my cabin tour of 8084 balcony cabin, and my dining on board guide, all linked at the end of this video. Thank you so much for joining me on this Caribbean adventure. I've loved sharing it with you, and if you've enjoyed it, please give it a like, drop a comment, and of course hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Until then, I'll see you soon.